Today is Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor 43, Week 11.
This episode was titled Hiding in Plain Sight. It was spoken by Gabler. He said, I'm hiding in plain sight.
Yep.
So he's pretty happy with how he's doing in the context of the game at this point.
Yep. So was Sammy till he wasn't.
Speaking of which, we're back at camp there at the Gaia camp. It's night 19, coming back from that tribal council where they voted out Noelle. And Sammy says, yes, Noelle is gone, and Owen and I were left out of the vote, and I dug myself a hole. And then he proceeds to immediately lie to Karla and say he didn't vote for her.
And to point the finger at Gabler.
Yeah, try to deflect on Gabler, but nobody believed it. Jesse immediately countered him and said,
no. No, he didn't.
And so Sammy was saying he dug himself a hole, and he was proceeding to dig even deeper. Often happens when you find yourself in that situation.
But it's awful when you stand there and lie and then have to tell the truth.
What did you think of his explanation? It didn't make any sense. Karla asked him why when he finally owns up to it.
I wasn't sure what the heck he was saying even.
He said, I thought I was on the other side. You would play an idol, ... I didn't get it. It didn't. That's
what I'm saying. It didn't. I was like,
It didn't seem like there was a complete thought in there. Yeah.
I thought I just missed something. But I was like,
I didn't think it would matter because you would play an idol to save yourself. Therefore, my vote against you wouldn't be significant. And now you see where it got me, he finished with.
But Karla doesn't think the others know she has an idol except for Cassidy. So, anyway, whatever.
We cut over next. We see Gabler talking to Owen, and he tells him, I tried to signal you. Cody and Jesse changed it right before we went. But I have a plan, he continues.
Has a plan to get them to Final Three.
Yes, which was never explained, at least as far as I can tell.
Or we didn't get to hear it.
Yeah, and this is where he tells us, and so you can see him talking to Gabler talking to Owen and try to tell him, just wait until the morning, we'll talk more, and you'll be okay. You'll see you're going to be okay. And then Gabler's talking from a confessional, and that's where we got the title, where he's talking about what a good position he's in, and he is hiding in plain sight.
Owen is so frustrated. He has not been on the right side of the vote since Mariah, which was, day 3?
He is a complete fail in the context of the game at this point.
Of the vote.
Yep.
So it would be really funny if he pulled it out and won.
Delivers the greatest one of the greatest metaphors of all the metaphors that have been offered so far in this season, where he said, it's not just Lucy pulling the football away from me. It's not just Karla yanking it away. It's all the other peanut kids are out here doing the same thing.
Everybody's against me.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure it does feel that way.
At this point, he's set to go down in Survivor history as a complete fail.
So badly as a fan. And, I appreciate that.
Always we do.
It's like,
and
I feel so bad
unfortunately, for lots of super fans, it's like hitting a self-destruct button.
Yep.
You can't help yourself. You're there. You want to put everything into it.
And you can't make anything happen.
Yes.
It's like, it's not like he hadn't tried.
As Jesse would say, Owen has no agency in the game.
Well, but you never know in Survivor when that could change.
Now, what did you think about, we go on to the next day, so it's a 2-day cycle, day 20 and 21, and it kicks off with Sammy talking about how, he was left out of the vote, he got burned.
For the first time.
Today's probably his worst day, he says, but he turns back to that letter from home, words from his mother, And he says he's spent his whole life failing to try, not taking it, being risk averse, not willing to put himself out there. And he just consoles himself with his mom's words.
He's
and make the best of it.
Hold his head up and put his shoulders back and
make the best.
Move forward.
Yeah. And oh yeah, mom told me.
Because Mommy told me to, and so Mommy knows best.
Now, what did you think at this point? How did you frame this? Because we had both turned out, we both got strong vibes during listener feedback, and we eventually came around to choosing Sammy as our vote out for the Fantasy League this week.
Oh, yeah.
So this looked good. I chose to see this as a positive sign. This is his swan song. He gets to reference his mom. She told him, just go out there and do your best.
I wasn't even thinking about that at this point. I was just watching.
These are good signals as far as I'm concerned.
That's what you were thinking, I guess.
I was just curious if it hit you that way or not.
Nope.
We see Sammy talking to Karla, and Karla tells him, hey, just be open. There could be opportunities to join back in on the vote.
Well, that is one thing about Karla. She hadn't slammed any doors, though she was trying to as soon as... I thought that was a good question to ask Sammy. Who said my name first?
Who mentioned it first? And so Sammy says Cassidy, but I believe that was a lie.
Well, she seemed pretty shocked, but why would she believe him? She knows he will lie. He just lied to her about. But then he fessed up that he lied, but...
All the more reason to not believe him. Yes.
Well, she seemed to, though. And then she's kicking herself. We find out that she said... My dumb self told Cassidy about my idol.
All right, so they let us go all this time. It wasn't clear when that happened.
Well, yeah, we don't know when.
I didn't quite get it. But all this time I've been thinking she was one of the smarter ones and hadn't done that. But nope, she's a blabbermouth too. Just burning a hole in her pocket, and she can't wait to tell someone. Eventually it's Cassidy that now Cassidy knows, and certainly Jesse suspects, as others do.
Well, Jesse says he knows she's got it.
All the clues point
even though she won't admit it.
That direction, yes.
So I think she really thinks nobody knows unless Cassidy told somebody.
I did like Cassidy's response that happens in the next sequence where she tells Karla, look, Sammy's going to try to sow mistrust between us. He's going to try to turn us on each other.
And she tells her, I'd like to see us two girls in the finale. But for some reason,
classic Karla pause.
Is not trusting that. I think she finally went, no, I gave her my secret. I have to get her out.
Yeah.
And she couldn't see anything else beyond that.
Right. She said, there's only 6 days left. I've got to go on the offense, and I need her gone.
Well, they have to play it by, final 5?
Yeah.
So she didn't have much longer to play that idol.
At this point in the game, she had 3 tribal councils.
I can't believe there's still 3 in the game.
Yeah.
This late in the game.
Karla did one of those pauses again when someone said something critical to her, and she did not immediately answer in the affirmative to throw off suspicions. At least that's how the edit gave it to us. She appeared to pause in her reply to Cassidy about the 2 women in the final tribal council, and then said, yeah. Okay, it's day 21. Beautiful sunrise. We're told that they're magical clouds. Was it magical? Did it look pretty? I can't see all those colors, so I don't know.
Yeah, it was pretty clouds.
And Cody spots the boat mail.
And they're talking about only 6 more days.
Yep, and Budget Survivor Season 43 will come to a conclusion. Okay, so they get boat mail instead of tree mail on day 21, and it tells them, hey, there's an advantage hidden in the jungle. Go. And off they go.
And Karla was the one that ran out there to the boat and got it.
And we proceed to see a montage of people walking by the advantage that was hanging by a thread on a tree at eye level. What did you think about all that? That was pretty good, wasn't it?
It was very good. It's like, oh my gosh. what are they? I want to know, what are they feeling at home tonight?
Yeah, if only
Watching
you
that,
could have seen that.
Are you kidding me?
Wouldn't that be just a fantastic extra if they had arranged?
If they had cameras on every single
everyone
person
to just
watching
get some,
that.
yeah, grab your phone and record yourself during this sequence tonight and send it to us, and then they could have released that. That would have been fantastic. And it
to
wouldn't
hear
have cost them hardly
families
anything.
Were saying too,
Yes.
like,
Yeah, their reactions.
Look at you were right there.
Yeah.
It was practically in their face so many times.
Oh, jeez. I got major poser vibes from Gabler again. He's going to lerp. We're going to do long-range reconnaissance. Oh. And, of course, it's a complete fail. Gabler almost bumps into it multiple times during his lerp process.
Well, yeah. Most of them, at some point or another, if they'd have just... they could have just reached out and touched it. Even Sammy, I don't know how many times Sammy walked by it.
Yeah.
And it was even poking out, but he was looking kind of down and just wasn't even looking.
Well, I think Gabler probably messed them up, at least the four that were there in his lerp group, because he said, never above eye level, right? And, of course, it's definitely been above eye level before, but that got everybody looking down.
Yeah, but it was at eye level. Mm-hmm. Especially for Gabler eye level.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
Cody
it was really
basically
cute
put his
and
hand
fun.
on it. Yeah, it was a good sequence. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, and Cody looked like, what
What is that?
And he just stared at it and he went, oh.
He had great composure,
I think
though.
that's it.
He really didn't signal in any way externally. He didn't
He didn't give it away.
tip
That's for
Gabler
sure.
that he had found it, and then he ends up with it, and he's so tickled with himself. Yeah, baby.
Well, and after
golly,
he'd
I'm
given up,
stoked
and then
in a
he came
shimmy
back,
dance.
and then
Yeah.
he was so sure. Oh, somebody's already found it.
What did you think
too.
about this?
What?
Choose your champion advantage.
Loved it.
What a great idea.
Loved it.
Yeah. So
it's just an opportunity. You have to pick the right person. You have to know your castmates.
yeah,
what
love that
they're
aspect of
capable
it.
of.
Yeah.
And he placed himself as the front runner for this challenge, though he wasn't even in the final three.
Right.
But he thought he would be.
I think
and I would have too. You know, I would have thought
Sure.
Cody would be.
Why wouldn't you pick the surfer?
Exactly.
They get rolled by waves and have to hold their breath
Yeah.
for minutes at a time sometimes.
Doesn't always phase them, you know, if they get in a great big wave.
And they can be rolling underwater, lose
a
their
long
board, or
time.
get
Yep,
hit by their
yep,
board, and they got to keep holding their breath until they can get in between the waves. Sometimes they don't even get up to the surface to get a breath before another one rolls in on them when they get hit like that. So, yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that he was the front runner.
Well, I thought Owen was a good choice because he has done well in challenges, and
I didn't. I actually thought I didn't understand that at all.
I know, but I argued with you about it because I thought, no, he's desperate. He's going to do the very best that he can do because he's desperate.
Because that's all he's got.
In. Yeah, that's right. It's all he's got, and he knows he only has himself.
Right. So it could be him dropping the football.
Yep.
But no one could potentially pull it away from him. He would have to give it
But we
up.
went on to the challenge instead of you went out of order.
No. I asked you what you thought of this advantage. I didn't go to the challenge yet at all.
Sure you did.
No. Mm-hmm. No, we were just talking about his choice
I don't agree.
about his choice of Owen. But the immunity challenge does actually come next.
Yep.
The classic Last Gasp. So you got to get down in the water under a graded steel barrier. And when he was describing the challenge, and then Cody spoke up and handed him the advantage, he explained another aspect of it, that you won't know, he won't announce who he chose until after the votes have been
read, or
after the votes have been cast. But before they've been read. So that essentially imbues some degree of immunity on the person who has that event.
yeah.
You got to worry
Yeah.
that could happen. This
Even
is
if
gonna
you didn't get it, it's going to be in their head that you could get it, and they don't want to go there.
Right.
So I think you're safe either way.
it does throw some shield effect on you. So what an
Yep.
interesting advantage from that perspective.
And Jeff talked a little bit about how this particular challenge is unique. Every single time they run it, it's different. The tides are different.
Because you're dealing with the ocean.
Everything's different.
Yes.
Different people. It's just the ocean does its own thing.
Yeah, because the elements play such a significant factor in how the challenge plays out.
And people that could do really good in a lot of challenges, you can see them panic where being underwater is concerned and not being able to breathe. It just, they're primed for people to go into a panic attack with something like that. And especially since you can't see the swells coming, you don't know how long they're going to last, you don't know when to breathe, when to get ready. There's just all those things.
Yep, you got
I
to
would
take.
hate it.
Yeah, you got to take breaths and be as calculated as possible. You can probably feel a swell coming because it might dip a little before it rolls in on you, but you don't know how long it's going to last for sure. And that seemed to be a big aspect of the drama in this one. I like Probst checking in with him early. He's asking Owen, how it was, and Owen said he was happy to try this one. He was
Happy to be there to do this challenge.
Yeah, he was looking forward to it because it is such an iconic challenge. Gabler spouts off that it's like a spa day, and Probst said, yeah, until the swells come, cue the swell, and they immediately get swamped. At least that's how the edit
And
played
Gabler
it.
quits
Yeah, he definitely was first to fold.
on the first swell.
And then Sammy ends up dropping.
Went out on the second swell.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect either one of those.
Probst is talking up the swell magic. Some swells are fast,
And
some
then there
swells
was-
are slow.
And then there was a long swell, and Jesse was out.
Yep, already down to 4. Karla, Owen, Cody, and Cassidy. And Probst tells us next that they are an hour into the challenge.
Well, and they showed Cody blowing water out of his nose, so obviously he'd taken water in. And goodness,
I bet they have to do a medical check after this because you can have a, what is it called? Is it dry drowning?
I don't know.
If you take in too much water, it can actually kill you much later if you get it into your lungs. Anyway, there's definitely some risk, and you're going to be uncomfortable.
And Cody let go several times, but he
ducked down,
stayed
came back up.
underwater
Yeah.
and came back up.
I thought
he
he was
could
going to.
probably see, when he could come back up and be okay.
Yep, that would give you an opportunity to try to
And
gauge it.
I think he probably felt more in control because he could get out very quickly if he really couldn't get enough oxygen.
It could help you manage the panic a little, right?
Yes, it definitely could.
When he eventually bails out through that sequence, though, and when he's up on the platform, he and Probst are talking about how cold the water is.
Yeah.
And that made me remember something when I've been swimming, and this was lake swimming where the water was really cold. I think the coldest I've ever done was about 48 degrees Fahrenheit, that
I
is.
don't remember you being...
And that's so cold
Very
that it feels like it burns when you first get in. But the thing, even well before, a lot warmer than that, I learned quickly, even when it was like in the, I want to say like in the 60s, 60 degree Fahrenheit water, that I needed earplugs in because that cold water gets in your ears and it would give me vertigo. And boy, you would not want to you'd end up feeling nauseous in there. So I'm hoping it wasn't that cold, but they were definitely talking about how cold it was. So that was an added factor that I don't remember hearing people talk about before.
Yeah, because they said he commented that Cody was frozen. Mm-hmm. And that's the first time they'd mentioned the cold aspect of it.
But even 60, 70 degree water starts pulling the body heat out of you at a pretty quick rate.
And how long they were, even Cassidy was in there for
2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah, that was awesome. And then
And Karla and Owen were like 3 hours or something, Jeff said.
the last one I heard him say was 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah, but then they were in a while and the tide started to drop.
How about that?
It's like,
They
well,
made history.
Then there's no challenge.
They actually beat the tide. I didn't see that coming at all, did you?
No, not at all.
I was excited.
That was fabulous.
Yeah, and especially for two people who deeply appreciate it so much.
Yes.
To have been able to do that. And Karla, her head wasn't necessarily on the block the same way that Owen and Sammy were.
She wasn't trusting that it wasn't
yeah,
either, though.
But she had the ability to save herself, but still she stuck it out.
A new precedent, and they outlasted the challenge.
Outlasted the tide.
So they had to. I thought they have to give them both immunity. They both.
You know what it was, right? Pro's like, well, I'm kind of done. I'm ready to go back to the tent and get some food.
Y'all made me stand there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Watching you,
they're
trying to come up with something.
They're like, we're not going to do this through a low tide and then back to a high tide. That's a 12-hour cycle. Yeah, not going to happen, folks. We're going to call it.
We're going to give them both immunity.
So Karla, she gets her a hug from Probst and gets her immunity necklace. Owen gets his. And then Probst says, okay, swim it out. They weren't happy about having to get back in the water.
Well, yeah, they should have given them a ride back to shore.
Well, they do. That whole swim it out thing's a fake, but, they have them do it for the visual, and then they pick them up in the boat and take them back to the island, wherever their camp is.
Well, I thought that was fun.
And then we get a quick confessional after that from Sammy, and he said, we're possibly got 3 people are going to be immune.
And we're going, yep, you do.
Yeah.
You absolutely do.
And he was pretty sure Cody had chosen correctly. So he tells us he's going to play his shot in the dark. I didn't believe him.
Why?
Okay, because we hadn't seen people playing it this season.
Well, why not? If that's his last shot, you got to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Why not play it? Yes, you lose your vote, but...
Well, I think prior to this, they had done really good jobs of helping people be so confident that they didn't even consider doing it, that they wanted to demonstrate. That's what you always hear. Hey, I just want to demonstrate my trust, that I can do what I said I was going to do and vote, with the group.
However, I think he read the room right, and the only person that cared was Karla.
Well, he knew how deep of a hole he had dug himself, and it didn't seem like he had done anything yet to get out.
I'm pretty sure the others weren't talking much to him. Like, it's you, dude. So
back at camp, Karla and Owen are telling everyone about how they became one with the water.
Well, you pretty much have to if you're going to be under it for 3 hours.
Cassidy wasn't feeling it. She was not in a celebratory mood for her alliance member. She said, this one got me. She's really disappointed in herself.
We know me. I would have been sick in minutes. I wouldn't have been able to do it. I don't, for some reason, just cannot do salt water and moving water. Any kind of moving water. I just can't do it. It makes me ill.
Owen comes out to comfort Cassidy, and he says, well, I think maybe Sammy's the target. Cassidy's not 100% sure that's what's really going, but that's a place to start.
Cassidy had a hard time dealing with losing the challenge after she invested so much in it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And now she sees herself as vulnerable.
Absolutely.
With good reason.
Karla seems on board with a Sammy vote, but that whole thing about sharing her immunity bracelet with Cassidy's nagging at her. And she's thinking, I really got to get her out.
Yeah.
So that's the name she gives Sammy, Cassidy. Music to my ears, says Sammy.
Well, and Jesse was so surprised. I think he's the one that really threw a kink in that. He wasn't on board with that. He really wanted to get Sammy out.
Yep, we see Sammy talking to Cody and saying Cassidy, and then Cody takes that to Jesse and says it's Cassidy.
Just the opposite. Jesse took it to Cody.
I do not remember it that way. Okay.
Well, Cody doesn't agree with him, though. He wants Cassidy.
Yeah.
He doesn't want Sammy.
But he got the Cassidy name from Sammy. So he was sharing that with. Anyway, they were talking about it, and we see Gabler talking to Jesse and saying, "Well, we'll do Cassidy tonight, and we'll get Karla tomorrow." And that's when we get Jesse talking about how having Karla on board is warning bells.
Well, and Cody talked about that's the first time they haven't been on the same page, and that they had to get on the same page. And we commented, okay, well, let's see if Jesse goes with Cody and takes Cassidy out, or if Cody goes with Jesse and takes Sammy. So now we see Cody gave in.
Jesse was really concerned about Sammy's ability to make fire and potentially save himself if he's
At
still
Final
there.
Four,
Yeah, at Final Four. And we had seen a precursor to that earlier on in the episode where he easily makes fire.
Well, that is a good idea. If you know somebody's really good at fire, you don't want to get stuck in the Final Four against him.
What do you think about Jesse's plan when he was talking to Owen? He said, "We'll let Karla be the only one to vote for Cassidy, and that'll drive a wedge in between them when they come back after this."
Well, it is a plan to do that.
Yep.
And, but Owen has a lot of reasons not to trust anything Jesse tells him, like he said. And so I get he must have convinced him because he did it, but Owen had to be really nervous about that because they've been telling him all along this one and that one, and none of them had been correct. So
yeah. No, he can't trust what anybody says at this point. He was clear on that at the beginning. Okay, off to Tribal Council. Ryan thinks it was a double immunity challenge. Little does he know, and then Probst reveals it was a historic...
Ryan.
In the jury when they came in. We're at Tribal Council now. Ryan's in the jury.
Okay.
He got voted out.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay.
That's why I was like, what are you talking about Ryan for?
Because we see him talking in the jury.
Okay, I didn't realize you were already at Tribal.
I announced it.
Could see Ryan.
Probst tells them all about the historic challenge and how they had defeated High Tide. What a great moment.
And that possibly 3 people had immunity. Gabler tells us.
7 people. Gabler's right at this point where he's talking about how 7 people is a critical point in the game. I think he called it a magical time.
Yep. Karla tells us everybody's so polite.
And open for business.
That's
and
right.
Polite discussions.
Yes. And they have been. They really have been. Even, with Sammy voting for Karla, she was still open to hearing what he had to say. And if she could use him, it's like, yeah, that made me unhappy. Moving along.
Owen acknowledges the irony of his game to date, with him previously declaring that he feels fine, only to find out that he's been left out of the vote yet again.
That's right. Yes.
And then Sammy announces that he's on bottom. He knows there are no second chances for him at this point.
But he lets them know he's a vote if they need one. So if anybody needs to do anything, it's like Karla's going, yeah, well, I'm tried, and now you're going to play your shot in the dark. And Cassidy's comparing it to a crystal ball, but it's awfully foggy right now.
Yeah, the trust prediction, wasn't coming through. She had her whole, what was it she was saying? Let me help you, help me. That's how things are at this point. That's how the discussions go.
Oh, okay.
And I had completely forgotten that the clock was running out at this Tribal Council on the shot in the dark.
Yeah, till Jeff commented. And Karla did not seem happy when Sammy announced that he was going to play it.
She said, well, that's unfortunate.
Well, I thought, I actually said to you, well, then she has to vote Sammy. Whatever she was going to vote, she has to vote
like it
Sammy
at that point,
now.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. And
the odds are very good that he won't get one if he's going to actually do what he says. And he wants to know why Karla said that. So she said, people have placed trust in you. So now you're throwing all that away.
Yeah, she was willing to give him another chance, and she can't trust him to vote with her. So, okay.
Gabler was there with the classic line. He's there with the Keith Nell line. Stick with the plan. And Jesse tells Sammy that all these trust checks that you do, they end up costing you.
Yep. Everybody goes to vote.
I like that they showed, Sammy showed the token. He got it out of his pocket to get ready to play it, but they didn't show him actually choosing to play it. So they left that as a little mystery.
Well, it didn't last for long because
No.
as soon as they got back, Jeff announced that Cody did indeed bet on Owen,
Yes.
and he is immune,
Yeah. How cool.
which I think most of them assumed.
This episode had a lot of really good
he
moments.
could tell them.
Right? Anytime you get someone making history in the context of the game in a good way, and this was a double one with such an iconic challenge, and then boom, we got this advantage, and it works in Cody's favor.
So who do you think Cody told, yeah, I voted for Owen before Tribal?
Well, Jesse, you got to think that he told Jesse that.
Yeah.
He probably shared it with him. Question is, did Jesse
I'd have
ask?
told everybody that anyway, just so they wouldn't vote for me.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to trust what anyone
I
said
would've said,
necessarily. But
I
again,
voted for Karla, or I voted for Owen.
this advantage imbues some degree of immunity just by having it in your
Yep.
possession.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
And Jeff also told us that Sammy did indeed play his shot in the dark.
Well,
so
Sammy
he
announced
has
it. Yeah.
No vote.
Yep. Not safe. It comes back.
No vote for him, and he's not safe.
1,
So,
2, 3, 4 votes for Sammy,
bye-bye.
and he's out.
So everyone voted for Sammy, including Karla.
And we had him going out in our picks this week, so we were very happy.
Yes.
Fist bump.
Very happy,
Yeah.
especially after losing safe point.
What did you think of this
lately.
episode?
Oh, like I said, loved it. There was so much, and just that challenge was so awesome.
I was already just stoked, looking forward to it because of the Last Gasp challenge itself and getting to see that play out again. But
It's
then,
been a long time.
yeah, but then having two people actually beat it. There's,
And out of all the years that they've done that, that has never happened.
I guess maybe I shouldn't complain about how poorly they hide advantages when so many people walk almost bumping into it when it's in plain sight like that.
Well, Cody said that it was the color of the tree trunk. It didn't look that way to me, but maybe it did to them. Maybe they had it look different to us or something. I don't know.
It was all CGI. I'm pretty sure that's what Gabler's telling everyone tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They posted that in afterwards. Did you see how it flashed?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I didn't. I was looking forward to it, but I didn't know it was going to be this good.
Yeah.
At this point in the game, you get lulls right before the second to the last one. The episodes don't always deliver, and this one seemed like it really delivered to me.
You had 3 people out of 7 with immunity and 1 more with an idol. And we still have 3 idols in the game
Yep.
with 6 now.
Crazy, huh?
It's like, whoa.
do
And
you
they can
think-
use it 2 more tribal councils.
Yeah, to Final 5, the immunity bracelets are still active, right?
I think so.
And there's likely going to be another advantage. This one got played. Yeah, and to get an advantage that, I'll need more time to think about it, but
Something new.
it was new and it didn't get in the way, and it's done. It's designed to appear and then be used immediately.
Yes, you
It's
have
gone,
to use it.
And
Which
I guess
may
it was
be the way they need to do those.
neat. It was neat to see Cody make the right choice. I wouldn't have necessarily chosen Owen, but he clearly knows more about Owen, or he got lucky. So yeah, good episode.
Well, good thing you didn't choose Gabler or Sammy, because they went out bam bam.
Yeah.
And then Jesse. So I was really surprised that the girls hung in there so long. Now Cassidy, I thought, well, she's thin and her face
Tiny face.
could
yeah.
get way up in there.
Could have had an advantage.
Further, and could have given her a little advantage.
And we were wondering if that nose ring was going to give Karla some grief, but she seemed to be like pinching her nose above it. And
and managed
clearly,
it fine.
given how long she went, it wasn't a problem at all.
So, excellent. Well, good on both of you. Well, all three of you. They all did good. Cody chose well. Excellent episode.
Yeah. Next time on Survivor?
Cody talking to Karla. Do you want to go to Final Four with me?
You think that's real?
There is no way to tell. And that could change 15 times between the beginning of the episode and the end. So
we see Jesse talking to Cassidy and saying Karla was writing your name. So she's in reference to this tribal council that we just saw.
Karla said it's fascinating how people will turn on their own alliance. Really?
Perfect example, Karla.
Karla just did that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was in the process of demonstrating it
Whether Cassidy was aware of it during the last tribal council or not.
Until Sammy decided to shoot himself in the foot again. Cassidy making a declaration, Karla, I'm coming for you.
Yep.
We see Cody talking to Gabler and saying Owen won't see it coming, and that genius is the word for this plan, whatever he's referring to. It's not clear.
He's basically saying, I'm a genius.
Yes.
Okay, Owen tells us this is so unbelievable. Well, then maybe you shouldn't completely trust it.
Jesse to Cody, if I have to be more brutal, or if I gotta be more brutal, I will. Owen to Karla, I'm willing to write Gabler. So they're probably pitting Gabler and Owen against each other, don't you think?
I don't know.
And then Gabler gets the last words. The gloves are off now. It's a death match to the end. Yeah, that's pretty much how the game works. Battle Royale maybe is a better term.
Cody wanted Cassidy out and wanted to break up Karla and Cassidy. So, that could be happening as well.
In terms of the next pitch.
He could be making her feel secure so he could blindside her. Or they may be, he and Cody together, Cody and Jesse together may be, really stirring up the two girls to get them really upset with each other, and so that they can get one of them out.
Well, who do you want? Owen or Gabler at Final Five? Assuming Jesse, Karla, Cassidy, and Cody can lock it down for the four.
I think they'd probably rather have Gabler, but I'd rather see Owen. So that's what I would prefer. Gabler tells us the gloves are off. It's a death match to get to the end.
Indeed.
It's like, alrighty.
How about a JSFL update?
Rajmi is still in first with 51 points, all by herself now.
Goodness, somebody forgot to take Nina's advice.
17 people lost their USB this week. Was that Justin too? Did Justin have?
Oh, Robert. Yeah, I remember.
Oh, I meant
from
Robert.
From the listener feedback
but I meant
show.
Robert.
Yeah.
Okay, 85 people lost a safe point, and 107 people earned a vote-off point, including us.
Yeah.
For Sammy going home. In the side challengers, Jeremiah still in first with 50.
He's crushing it.
Parker and Rebecca with 46. Chris with 45. Stacy 44. Justin and Robert 43. And Cold Mike with 41.
Yep, pretty significant move on my part there. I've begun my ascension towards the top.
Let me pat you on the back.
Yeah, thank you. I chose well.
There you go.
Yeah, you can see the results in the side challenge standings.
Mm-hmm. I've been watching them every week.
Basement adjacent, but no more. Now I'm clearly in the middle of the pack and moving up.
Least.
Good deal. Well, we had a great time last week in listener feedback show, and thanks to Robert's question about Sammy, we got all that clear about who to vote for and all the other great insights. And we would like to extend that invite to you. Please come join us in the next listener feedback show. You can call and leave a voicemail, 206-350-1547, toll free, 844-643-8737. You can record your own audio and attach it, or just type up a quick text message and we'll read it in on your behalf. Send it to us via email at joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. Feedback's due noon Pacific time on Saturdays, and we ask that you keep it in that 3-minute range so we can get everybody in there. And the sooner you send it, the sooner we can get it prepped and ready to go.
All right.
It was great last week. I had something at noon, but we were able to get everything done before then because everybody got their stuff in early, so it was fantastic. And I'm looking forward to hearing people's thoughts on this episode. What did you think? We got that history-making challenge result with double immunities. And what are your thoughts on this new challenge, the Choose Your Champion, not challenge, but advantage, Choose Your Champion advantage?
I hope everybody enjoyed it as much as we did.
Well, I think I know someone who might not have, but I look forward to hearing Robert's thoughts again this coming week, all the same.
The other 17 people.
Yeah.
Or the other 16 plus Robert. Okay. Sorry, Robert.
Anything? Well, you tried to tell him. It looked like he might have taken a different path. He held on.
I don't know. I didn't look to see.
Yeah.
But either way.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it. I just look forward to Saturday now.
Have a good one.